Hello everyone, this is Michael here with my Crooked Road Homestead. Today I'm going to show you how I build these cages for my quail. I spent a couple of days uploading my first video on the cost of building these pens, and if you haven't seen that, we'll be sure to go look at it. But anyway, today I'm going to show you everything that you have to do to build one of these cages. But the first thing is these poop trays. And these poop trays are plastic. And I buy this stuff at Home Depot is where I buy it. But I talked about this on my first video, but they call this corrugated plastic sheeting. I don't know if you can see this, but there's the name of it, and that's where it comes from. So anyway, I buy it, and it comes, the way I buy it is in a 4x8 sheet. Now, you can get it probably in 2x4s and all that, but it's more expensive. When you buy it in a 4x8 sheet, it's, I think, $20-some, $20.89 or 99 cents. I can't remember, but with tax and everything, it's 23, 24 bucks for a sheet of it. But out of it, I can cut 8 pieces to go underneath these pens to collect their poop. And this stuff is so easy to work with. It's light and everything else. Out here, I got a couple of sheets that I took out when I changed these birds out this morning. I got this poop on them, but I'm going to show you how easy this stuff is to clean up, because I don't know, it just beats everything that I've used before. But I just take my hose and I just hit it, and it just washes it off. I just wash it out there in the grass and clean it off. And it just cleans up so easy. It's so easy to clean up. But you can wash it off, and it just takes it off. And there's not any mess to it whatever, and then I just let it lay out here and let the sun dry it out. But one thing about it, it won't rot, and it's light. And the way I build these cages, I build a slot for this to slide up into. Now, you can see that that's a little rough. It's not really wanting to come off there that easy. But I've got a brush, like a toilet bowl brush, and I just come out and scrape it on it, and it'll take it right off there. But I'm not going to mess with that right now. I'll do it here when I get through this video. But that's how easy it is. I mean, there's nothing to it. And they just clean up, and then I let them lay out there and dry, and it makes it so easy, to do. But over here in the corner, before I show you these pieces I've cut, I want you to look at this pen here. I don't have any birds in it, and I'm not going to disturb my birds. But these are my pens. And if you look at the top of these, I turn a 2-inch right here. This is 2 inches. And I do that all the way around the top of them. And then in here is my divider. You can see my divider. And then down here is my egg tray. Goes across. I got ends on this egg tray right here. And then down here below, I come down and I turn this, and that's what my poop trays slide into. Down here on this bottom one, you can see them down there. You can see that right here is where they are, and that's what you slide this material up in to grab their poop, and they're easy. And if you look on this pen, you can put these pens together 2 ways. You can either use J-clips, which I prefer J-clips, All the rabbit pins I've ever built, I used J-clips. But while I was at Harbor Freight, I found a package of these zip ties. All these little black ties that's on this pin. So I wanted to try them on this, and they work great. I mean, if you don't want to use the J-clips, you can use these zip ties. But I mean, for $2 for 100 of them, you know, that's not very expensive at all. But it makes it easier. The things you're going to need to build these pins are, I got them right here on this chair right here. You're going to need your pair of needle nose pliers, a pair of snips, marking pin, tape measure, and if you use the J-clips, then you're going to have the J-clips and the J-clip pliers. But that's what you're going to need on them. Now, I drew this out up here showing the pieces that go on building these pins. And if you look right down here, I've got them marked. Like we got the back and the bottom. You'll need one piece for it. It'll be 41 by 24 inches. And then your front piece, which you'll look up there and you'll see your front piece, which is 2 and 8.5. You'll need a piece 11 by 24. And then for your sides, you'll need 2 pieces 16 by 24. And then for your divider, you'll need a piece 10 by 24. And then for your top, you'll need a piece 24 by 24. And those are the 6 pieces that you'll need to build one of these cages. Now I'm going to start here, and I've already cut all this wire. I've already cut it. I've already folded it. I folded it up there in my little break that I built. That's the way I put my wire up there on my spool up there, where I can just pull this wire out, put it through there, and then I cut it off. But it works out really great. It makes building these pins super, super easy. I mean, they take some time. Now, if you think you're going to build one in 30 minutes, well, you're wrong, because you're not going to be able to. It probably takes a couple hours to build one of these cages, at least for me, and I'm 74 years old, so, you know, I just don't get in a hurry anymore, and I like to have it the way I want it. Also, while I'm thinking of it, I didn't do this in my first video showing what it cost me to build these pins, but if you look at the way I got these cages mounted to this building is, up here, this angle iron is 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch angle right here. And I made these clips. You can see them right there. These clips right here. I make those clips, and that's the way I screw them to there. And here's one down here, you can see them. But I make those and screw them. And that allows this pin, you can lift it up or whatever you want to do with it. They'll move. But I do them that way to where, I do them that way so when those birds lay those eggs will roll down into those cages, into these egg trays. And it makes it easy because I don't have to get in and disturb my birds. I don't have any problem with my birds. You know, I got the feeders and everything, and I'll show you over here how I do that PVC and all of that. But if you'll look at my first video, you'll see that I explained about my water and my rubber bands and all that in that first video I made. But these bead boxes that I get them at Dollar Tree, and this stuff cost me $1. They cost me $1 a piece is what they cost me, each of these. These are my waters here, and I call them canisters now. Some people might call them, I don't know, but I call them a little canister. But anyway, I take these and put them on there after I get my holes cut in my wire. I'll show you on my front pieces, but I cut a little hole, and then this will fit up there, and the birds, if you look at that one in that first pin, you'll see that hole in it. And that's where they stick their heads in to get the water out of them. Now this box here. Now these boxes open up. They got a top on them with a flap, and they just had them in there, and I seen them, and I said, well, I'm gonna try them for this, and they work all right for it. I mean, you know, there might be another way, but for $1 a piece for those, you know, I've got a total in one cage. I got $4 and then change, and then on these filler tubes that I use that go in here, they're 3" by 10 inches tall. And what I do is I cut a slit in them right here. Now you might want to make yours wider. I don't, because when I had them wider, I had to go back and put cardboard around those first ones I made because it was letting too much feed in there. And then these birds, they get in that feed, they stick their heads in there and they just sling it. And what you're doing is they're slinging out that other hole, slinging the feed out, and it just goes on the poop tray, and it's lost feed. So I cut them down, and I've got them down now to where my width is about 1/2 inch. And so when I put this in there and that feed comes down, then it comes out, and as the birds peck at it and stuff, well, more feed it'll feed down into it. And these just go in here like that, and then I turn that around like that where that slit's in the front so that feed will pour out. I put 2 holes in them. I tried putting I cut these holes that I'll do in this. This is 1.5 inch tubing right here, and I took my glue gun and I tried to glue them on, but I don't know. I'm going to have to if I'm going to use these, I think I'm going to have to get me some airplane cement and try that. But you don't really have to have them, but I don't know. I just think they look a lot neater if you're looking at second pin over there. I've got them on that, and they stuck to that pretty good. So, but that's the way I do my feeders and my water, and it works out. It works out really good. I mean, I don't have to get in, and like I said in my first video, I chose to use these water bottles. I was going to put up there on that shelf. I've got a 5-gallon bucket, and I was going to put a automatic gravity-fed water in here. But I got to thinking, by the time I bought all them little dishes that you got to buy and PVC pipe and all that to run water to them, it's easier for me just to use these here. And, you know, I could take these off, clean them, you know, with my rubber bands holding them on there. There isn't nothing to do in that. But, okay, well, so much for that and so much about the poop trays and all that. So I'm going to take my first piece of wire right here, and this is my back and my bottom is what this is. And if you'll look at it, this front right here, I'm going to set it up here. I'm going to back up a little bit. But this front right here is 2 inches here. And then go back 3 inches here, and that's where the front of your cage, when you get your sides on there and everything, that'll be the front of your cage up here. Just like if you look at them pins, you'll see how they are. I got the front on them. Now, when I do this, now you don't have to, but I do it because, shoot, I'm an old man and I have to do it because I don't want to have to be using a tape measure. But what I do is, if you'll look at this, I take that marking pin and I run me on 12 inches and I run me a line all the way down it, the same way on the bottom. I do that on the bottom too, all the way across. So when I start putting this pin together, that's where my centerpiece has to be. It has to all be attached to all of that right there. So that's our bottom. That's the bottom piece. Our next piece is our front piece. And this front piece, if you look on the list over there, this piece is 11 inches. This piece is 11 inches, and what I do is, this is going to be the top right here. This is your top. This is the front right here. And down here on the bottom, I bend a 1/2 inch right here. This is a 1/2 inch right here. And then in the center, you can see right there, I mark my line right here. Right here. There you go. Right there is my line. And that's the center of my pen. And I mark that. And then I take my snips and I cut that out. Because when you put this in the pen, this here, your divider's going to be in here, so you've got to have that out because your divider is going to come down 1.5 inches. So you have to snip that out. So just remember that. And then my holes in it, I bring them and they're centered up on 6 inches, and then I come up, see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the 5th one, and then I make a 2 inch by 2 inch hole in there, and that's what my water. That's where my water goes in right there. That's where they stick their heads through to get the water. So that's that piece there, but you got it. First, best way, easiest way that I found to build these pins is cut all your wire, and then bend them up, and get them all marked before you try to put them together. Because if not, well, then you're going to be fighting them. Okay, next I'm going to take the center divider, which is right here. Okay, the center divider is it's 10 inches by 24. It's a piece 10 by 24 because it's coming off the roll. But what I do is I turn this 1/2 inch up here at top, and the reason why I do that is because it stiffens this divider up, makes this divider stiff. Now, when you put this in your pen, when you mount this in your pen, we're going to say that my table here is the bottom of my pen. You want this to be on the bottom, but you're going to have a 1/2 inch at the top, that it won't go all the way to the top. You'll look in these pens, they're a 1/2 inch over here where the divider is. You got a 1/2 inch that's down below your top. Right here, you can see it right in there. Look back in there, I'm a 1/2 inch from my top. But this stiffens this up. It makes your centerpiece a whole lot stiffer. And it just works out really, really good. And it's easy. I mean, these pins, if you lay them out like I'm showing you, these pins will be easy to put together, and they're not that expensive. Like I said yesterday, to build a 2-hole pin, you're figuring about $10 a hole, so $20 a cage. So if you can find them any cheaper than that out of all wire cages, well, go for it. But I don't think you're going to be able to. I think I've found about the cheapest way that you can build these cages. So maybe there's another way easier, unless, like I said, you get your wood free or whatever. But I don't want any wood. I messed with rabbits for years and years and years. And with wood and everything, if you use wood in your pins, just like this pin over here, this cage here, this is a grow out pin, so I'm not really worried about it. This is going to be for my grow out. But I found using wood and everything, and when they urinate on them and poop on them and stuff, well, then you get bacteria and all that. But with these wire cages, you can go in and move your birds. You can take these cages and take a torch and heat them up and sterilize them and everything. These birds, you know, they're not like rabbits. And this wire that I'm using for these isn't like rabbit wire. Rabbit wire is a lot heavier than this wire, and it's a lot bigger. So, but these cages are working out really good. Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about is the sides. And if you look at our deal over here, we need 2 pieces. We got 2 of these here. We got two pieces, and these are our sides right here. And on these sides, I'm gonna stand up here so I can show you these a little bit better than sitting down. But on these sides, what you have to do, if you'll look at my drawing over here, you cut your piece 16 inches. And you gotta cut this notch out on each side of this. This is your top up there. And you gotta have 2 inch by 2 inch right here on each side. 2 inch by 2 inch. And then you come down your 10 inches right here. From here down to here is 2 inches. 10 inches. From the top here down is 10 inches. Excuse me. And then from there down is 2 inches. And then that leaves 1.5 inches on the bottom. And this 1.5 inches is this right here. This is your 1.5 inches. And that right there is this is what your poop tray goes in, is this here. And you see my line right there, I drew it where my 10 inches is. So my poop tray slides in this here. And I mark the side of these, I mark all my pieces with that mark a lot, because when you start putting them together, it just makes it so much easier, and you know right where you are. You don't have to use your tape measure to do all of it. And it saves me a little bit of time when I do these. So, but you can do it however way you wish to do it. I'm just showing you the way I do it. And to me, so far I've built 5 of these pens, and they work out just the way I want to do them. But anyway, you end up with 2 of these. You'll have 2 of your sides. That's your sides right there. So we've covered the bottom, we've covered the front, we've covered the divider, and what we lack is the top. And this top is 24 by 24, is what your top is. Got your piece of wire 24 by 24. And then you bend on this side right here, you'll bend 1 inch. And you'll look on them tops and you'll see that 1 inch. And that's what I hook my clips into on the front. And you just line them up on the back up there on these pins. If you'll line them up back here, and you'll see how I've got these back here, you'll see them zip ties and these J clips, and over here on this one you can see them really good. But that's the way I do it. And then your top comes down, it folds over this side right here. It'll fold over this, and then I use these here. I built these and I use them. All they are is just a little clip that I built, and I built these for my jug lines. When I have put my hooks on my jug lines and stuff, well, I use these little clips. And I made these out of coat hangers. They're not hard to make, but they work perfect for keeping these tops down on these pins and keeping my tops from coming up. But that is basically the way that I build these pins, and so far I'm having real good luck. And over here, my brake, this is my wire in here. I just stick my wire in there, and you can see I can move it. And I've got it on that roll back there, and it makes it easy. And then when I get it to where I want it, all I do is push this down, and then I screw my wing nuts down, and then I take this and I bend it up. And I got this handle on here, and I just bend this wire up, and it makes it so much faster. If you look at these edges right here, when you cut this piece, when you cut your pieces, you're going to have a 1/2 inch tab, and you're going to have to cut it off. And the best thing I found is these tin snips. I'm a sheet metal fabricator by trade, or I was, but anyway. But these tin snips are so much easier. Those needle nose pliers I got, you can use them, but man, it takes a long time. You can just take them snips and just cut this stuff. But you want to try to get all your edges as smooth as you can get them, because I don't get in my pins that much, I'm trying to set these pens up where I don't have to get in them, and I'm trying to get them set up to where I've got as least amount of maintenance as I've got. But so far, this is the best setup I've seen for these quail. I mean, you're gonna have poop no matter what. Now, if I get enough birds and I get big enough, I've just been in this about a month. I'm just getting started in building these quail cages and messing with these birds, and I'm enjoying the heck out of it. I've just had so much fun doing all of this. And if you got a young child or whatever, and you want to get them into something that they'll enjoy doing, raising these quail is a lot of fun. And there's a little bit of work involved in them, but not near the work I had when I had my rabbits. Man, I used to have a lot of rabbits. I had 500 does at one time, and I sold my fryers up to Pelfrey, up to a place called Pelfrey's up in Rogers, Arkansas. But I never did think about having quail back then, you know. I don't know why, but I just never did. But anyway, that's it on how I build these cages. Before I get off here, I appreciate y'all spending time to watch my video, and I would appreciate it if you would subscribe to me, leave a comment if you wish to, hit the bells button, and then give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. So anyway, I'm going to get off here, and you have a blessed day, and I will see you next time. Okay, bye.